What came to our mind typically was, where is the attention of people today? And the attention of people today across the globe is in their phones. If you see the new generation, if you see the millennials, they're on their phone and their phone is their life. So we said, if the future is only looking at the phone, then we got to be there. From the time that we actually started, it was more like either we're going to skyrocket or we're going to burn ourselves. We don't know for sure whether it will click or not. Creating the brand was something very close to my heart. And you see, being known with a brand is a different feeling. It gives you a sense of achievement.
कौन खरीदर अपने को वो भी नहीं पता है,
वो भी नहीं पता है, वो क्या करेगा उसके साथ वो भी नहीं पता है, वो ठीक से यूज करेगा कि नहीं करेगा वो भी नहीं पता है,
और कंप्लेंट करेगा तो हम उसको एड्रेस कैसे करें वो भी ठीक से समझ में नहीं आता, because you're not really in touch with them.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Shark Tank, many of us are aware about consumer brands being grown in India daily. But how many of us do know about such brands in the paper, print and packaging industry? Today, we have Akash Doshi of S Doshi Paper. He's built a brand around fashion dressing tapes called SlickFix. How did he get this idea? His daughter one day had a problem before going for a party. She reached out to him. He suggested a product from his portfolio of tapes. She liked the solution so much that she suggested, why doesn't he make this available for other ladies as well? That laid the foundation of SlickFix, and he is now trying to take this brand global. Are you all ready to listen to his story? If yes, let's go ahead and watch the episode. Hi Akash, welcome to Ink Stories.
Thank you so much for bringing me here.
Akash, I have known you, I was just counting, I think close to a little over 10 years.
Absolutely.
And we've had this conversations around adhesive products. And now we are here talking about your business. You're doing some phenomenal stuff. I keep following you on LinkedIn, the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
And we are here to know about it. So are you all set to go ahead in this conversation?
Absolutely. Looking forward today.
Okay, great. So, you are like, when I used to interact with you way back earlier, you were in a hyper commoditized adhesive market.
That's correct.
Where if we put a circle or if we put a center as this location, we have around 50 kilometers, take a radius, I think there would be over 200, 250 gummy converters.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and you're in a hyper commoditized business. So I would want you to give us our viewers a sense of what you do, and then we probably get into what you're currently doing.
Sure. So what we try to actually do is, honestly, is we do not manufacture products. We try to provide solutions for applications.
Okay.
Now that completely decommoditizes the product, right? Because now the product is not being sold as a commodity. It is a solution that is typically developed for your factory. It may not work with anybody else. So, for example, if I have two people who are in the same manufacturing business, but both of them function differently, you would understand that the operations are done differently. And we would cater to the operations. So, giving a small example, somebody may want a different size or a different length. We would accommodate that and make sure that their problems are taken care of first.
Correct.
It's not about selling the product. It's about providing the solution.
Correct.
So that's how we are a little different from most other people.
Yeah, I mean, even in your B2B business, before we get to the B2C, which is the core that what your company is doing currently, even in the B2B space, I think you have some specialized niches. You're not like into the run-of-the-mill gumming business. Can you just give a sense of what you do there?
We cater to about 11 different verticals.
Wow.
In the 11 different verticals, we cater to automotive, healthcare, FIBC, furnishing fabrics. These are all solutions that we provided to these industries, which are highly specialized.
Okay.
So that keeps me apart from the rest of the bunch. We go down to the customer to understand their reason for using the product, and develop a product which will make their operations convenient by using our inputs.
I can imagine. I'm sure you're doing some phenomenal stuff there.
Thank you.
You know, I can't hold myself to get to this product that I have in my hand. You know, this is the SlickFix brand, right? That's what your brand is. So we want to know about SlickFix. What exactly is SlickFix in this B2B business? What do you do here?
So SlickFix is more of a consumer product which we're selling online. SlickFix is typically a fashion solution.
Okay.
So what comes to my mind when we discuss this is, why is it that we cannot dress up as well or similar to the Europeans or the Americans? There are things that are hidden that we are unaware of.
Okay.
And SlickFix is exactly those solutions. So if
can we go a little deeper in terms of understanding this with some examples?
So if you see most Europeans, they walk a lot. How come none of them have a shoe bite problem? How come none of them walk awkwardly? It's because of products like the shoe bite pad, which you stick inside of your shoe, and you're comfortable from day one till the shoes last.
Okay.
Right. So if you see that bunch of people walking in New York City, and you realize that, listen, how come these guys face zero problems as compared to us? And the reason for that is there are hidden fashion solutions that they use, which we need to start using in India.
How come it was not there in India all this while? I mean, I've not really heard of much of it.
I'm rather surprised that nobody ever thought of this. But since we were in the business of adhesive coating, and we saw this as a great opportunity for the Indian market, and that's how we jumped into it.
And how did you get into it? I mean, in terms of where did this idea strike?
So, to be honest, the idea was homegrown. It started with a difficulty that my daughter was facing, and my wife found the solution because we had non-skin irritant products, right? So we had certified products, and that's how it started from home, and then we managed to commercialize the entire range.
Okay. Yeah. So this problem you identified, your daughter probably gave you the first break in terms of identifying a solution.
That's correct.
That's
lovely.
Correct.
Yeah.
And give us a sense in terms of this is a D2C brand, right?
That's correct.
So I don't think there are many gumming companies who have even thought of doing something like this. Am I right?
That is absolutely correct. So the thing is, this is, I'm sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, so why D2C? I mean, what made you get into the D2C brand? I mean, हम लोग D2C सुनते हैं. I mean, can we just give our viewers a sense of what a D2C brand is?
So let me put it this way. What came to our mind typically was, where is the attention of people today? And the attention of people today across the globe is in their phones. If you see the new generation, if you see the millennials, they're on their phone, and their phone is their life. So we said, if the future is only looking at the phone, then we got to be there. And if we're not present there, we will completely diminish, and we will cease to exist. So we needed to be on the phone. To be on the phone, we needed to be a D2C brand. We needed to provide solutions to consumers that have not been found yet, or for some reason nobody's had the courage to get into it. And that's how we actually thought of entering into this area of business. It's from the time that we actually started, it was more like, either we're going to skyrocket or we're going to burn ourselves. We don't know for sure whether it will click or not, but we said, okay, we got to have the courage to make sure that we skyrocket.
Okay, I'm sure. Yeah. So just for our viewers understanding, D2C is a direct to consumer brand, जहाँ पे product सीधे आपके consumer के पास, end retail consumer के पास, और you are selling it online, correct?
That's
just correct my
that's
explanation.
Absolutely correct.
So that you are not going through a conventional retail channel or a shop, you are selling it online.
Correct.
So where are you selling it today?
So we are available on various portals like Amazon, Myntra, Nykaa, JioMart, Lulu and Sky. There are one too many portals that are now mushrooming across India. We should be on 4 more portals in this financial year. We are in the dialogue right now.
Lovely.
So
these are majorly women-oriented products, or you have a mix of?
So most of our products are unisex. So if you see underarm sweat pad, it's a unisex product. If you see a fashion dressing tape, it's a unisex product. It has application for men and women both.
Can I ask an example about the armpit pad? How does an armpit pad help a person like me? Can you just give me a sense?
So let's say, for somebody like you who ends up meeting new customers all the time.
Okay.
In this season of summer, you don't want to go with a underarm sweat patch to your customer. You don't want to be stinking.
Okay.
You want to be looking good and fresh and confident, right? So when you want to do that, what solution do you have in this heat? You do not have a solution. So if you use an underarm sweat pad inside your garment, you will never have an underarm sweat patch visible to the person sitting opposite you.
So what actually happens? Is the sweat absorbed by?
That's correct. The sweat gets absorbed by the pad.
Okay.
And it's retained in the pad, which is breathable.
Okay.
So it will also evaporate over a period of time. So you sweat, you come and sit in a cool environment under a fan or an air conditioned room. The sweat from the pad will evaporate as well.
Lovely. So this is a use and throw product.
That's
use
correct.
a pad and throw it. So every day you have.
So all of our products are use and throw typically because of hygiene levels. You cannot be reusing these products.
Lovely. I mean, Akash, one thing that strikes to me is you being a B2B player, and our earlier conversation you told me that S Doshi is a 48-year-old company.
That's correct.
And you started D2C some 3 years back.
Yeah.
So why would that or the change that is needed, what were those changes needed in your organization to get yourself adapted to this new business?
So typically, if you understand that we've been in B2B for the longest time, we felt the need to get into B2C because that was a market that is growing exponentially. And COVID has also taught people to buy stuff online. So the eyeballs online are far higher than just B2B, right? So B2B growth cannot be exponential, but a B2C can be an exponential growth or a hyper growth. And we felt the need to be in that market because we saw that as an industry which will blossom in the next decade.
Yeah, and I think the margins are also quite high in a B2C brand.
Yes, but so are the costs. So, reaching out, your courier service charges, your marketing cost online are extremely high. But yes, from that perspective, yes, the gross margins would be high.
And you're creating your own brand.
Yes, creating the brand was something very close to my heart. And you see, being known with a brand is a different feeling. It gives you a sense of achievement.
Correct. So we'll come back to SlickFix and know more. I just wanted to get a sense of S Doshi. What's your journey? How did it start? I'm assuming your dad started this business.
That's correct.
Can you just give us a brief?
It's been a family business. We were originally into label stocks. So we made label stock for printers who would then supply to FMCG like Hindustan Levers, Procter & Gamble, pharmaceutical companies for bottling labels, box packaging labels. And I joined this business somewhere in 95, 96. And that's the point at which I felt that if this is the business I have to continue with, there's no input required from my end. Because it was all set. There was nothing that I particularly needed to do. And that's when we got into tapes. So we started with tapes for various applications. And it's been a great journey of, I think, almost 27, 28 years now that we got into tapes for various applications across different verticals. And it's just been fabulous in terms of value growth, rupee value growth, because label stocks has a limitation of rupee value growth, which cannot be sustained over a longer duration. And you have giants like Every and Raflatech, Mectech coming into India. We needed to understand that we'll have to fight much harder to remain in this space. So we found a way out to say that, look, we get into tapes, which is a higher rupee value per square meter product line, an easier way to survive and grow.
That's awesome. I mean, you're giving me a sense that you were into a hyper competitive market where the leaders like Every and UPM are there. And you kind of moved out to create your own niche.
That's correct.
So what were the challenges that you were facing in the B2B business? I mean, a little more deeper sense of that.
So B2B is, there are multiple challenges in a B2B business. So if you really go to see, challenges would vary from industry to industry, price points, ability to service the requirements. So we were working with automotive to passenger vehicles, and the just-in-time inventory became a very high-pressure job for us, because our proximity from the plants is not something in our working out in our favor.
Yeah.
So those were some of the challenges, pressures in terms of volumes versus margins, payment cycles. Lot of issues with B2B, but yes, there are areas in B2B also which are absolutely fantastic, growing in double digits. Automotive for the last 2 decades had a slump, was not really growing as fast as one manufacturer would want. So those are some of the challenges we faced, and hence we diversified into 11 different verticals in the B2B space.
Lovely. Yeah. Lovely. So now you are spearheading this B2C business, which is the brand is SlickFix. You have more brands in this, or SlickFix is the only brand?
SlickFix is the only brand in D2C.
D2C. Okay. And what were the challenges that you faced initially as a B2B player moving into the D2C business?
So let me be honest, if I have to really start, I did not understand the D alphabet from D2C, right? It's an absolutely unknown area for me, because not meeting your customer, not explaining to him anything, it's a virtual selling, if you really go to see from my point of view.
Actually.
Right?
कौन खरीदर अपने को वो भी नहीं पता है.
वो भी नहीं पता है. वो क्या करेगा उसके साथ वो भी नहीं पता है. वो ठीक से यूज करेगा कि नहीं करेगा वो भी नहीं पता है.
और कंप्लेन करेगा तो हम उसको एड्रेस कैसे करें वो भी ठीक से समझ में नहीं आता, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट रियली इन टच विद देम.
एब्सोल्युटली. सो we started off with absolute courage in our heads that look, we got to break this. We got to find a way to spearhead this into the market space and utilize the current marketplaces to kind of penetrate into the Indian market. I did not even have an Instagram account until this brand started, so I had no clue about Instagram. I did not understand what Instagram is and how do you sell on Instagram.
We are not the Instagram generation.
We're not the generation, right? So lot of learning happened, lot of mistakes happened, lot of what I would say is falling and getting up happened. Figuring things out every day was a new day.
Something you remember, some example which would be helpful for the viewers to understand the challenges.
So one of our earliest mistakes that I completely remember or shall never forget in my life. You see, I won't name the marketplace, but one of the marketplaces, you have an option to offer a discount, and which goes to the marketplace on an Excel sheet. So there are columns, right? So you say MRP, selling price, discount, final price. I switched the discount amount with the selling price.
Oh.
And all of a sudden by 2:33 in the afternoon, I realized that we've got some crazy sales because I'm giving a 10 rupee discount, not realizing that I was actually selling it for 10 rupees.
Oh my.
Right? So those mistakes happened. We learned from them. We figured things out. But these are some of the challenges that we were new to the business, right? We did not understand a lot of things.
So you underwent any training to run this business?
Yes, I'm still learning. To be honest, like Michelangelo says, ancora imparo. I am still learning. It's a challenge every single day. You see, the beauty about the online D2C business is you have to understand the trend. You know how we normally say you got to learn to ride the wave in the stock market. You have to learn to ride the trend. This morning there's been some conversation between our social media team and the creative side that this is going viral on Instagram. This is what we need to use. So all of this has to happen within a couple of hours. If you don't, you've lost that trend.
Yeah.
You've lost that wave.
True.
So you got to be quick enough to pick it up, turn it around, push your stuff in there, enjoy the wave for 24 hours, 48 hours, and you're finding a new one.
Akash, I'm getting a sense that you are post 40, right?
That's correct.
So, and Instagram is not the thing that we grew up with. We are like the Facebook generation.
Absolutely.
If at all we are in that generation,
Absolutely.
we are the Facebook
Absolutely.
generation. तो कैसे आप खुद को relevant करते हो in terms of understanding reels, understanding कि मैं कैसे अपने post करूँ? There are different terms which are there on Instagram. Even I don't know it.
There is one thing that most people use is called the filters.
Filters, yeah. That's another term.
क्या कैसा लगेगा, कैसे perceive होगा.
Correct.
So it's a very different space to understand because especially for somebody like me, I don't belong to that generation, right? So from the language that is used, or what they would like to call as lingo, to the way you present something, to the hashtags that you use, to the timing of that particular content that you will release. You see, there's so many parameters that I actually sat down to learn that if I put that reel at 9 a.m. in the morning, it doesn't help. Right? Because 9 a.m., either that generation is in office or is asleep.
Okay.
If I release the same thing at 7:30 in the evening,
It will have
good.
a different impact.
Yes. And if I release the same thing post 10:30 in the night, it has the best impact.
Running a B2B business, ये सब फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता.
ये पैरामीटर ही नहीं है ना. They don't
Parameter
exist for us, right?
Yeah.
They just don't exist for us. Ki what time and what I do, it doesn't matter. I can send out an email when I want, when I'm ready. But here the parameters, the factors that challenge you or run the business are completely different. Whether you release content on a Friday morning or a Friday evening or a Monday will change, or the impact of your views, comments will completely change. The kind of views you will get will differ from the timing and the day of the month.
So you hired an agency to help you around this, or you doing it yourself?
No, so we have an agency that works very closely with us. It's more like a team.
Great.
And again, that agency is much younger generation, below 30,
sure.
in the mid 20s, because they understand these things far more than we do.
Totally.
The color scheme that attracts people. So there's lots.
So much to learn.
Yeah, there's so much to learn from these guys.
Now, for your friends from this industry, not specifically the adhesive, but anyone, who's stuck in his business and is not sure about कि यार मैं क्या करूँ, and I'm like kind of stuck. So what would be your piece of advice? Should they be getting into the D2C online business?
D2C is something that I would strongly recommend. D2C is where the next set of generation is going to shop from. The next set of generation, if I may be allowed to say so, is a very aloof generation. It does not believe in mingling as easily with unknown people as much as our generation did.
Correct.
Right? We would build relationships very quickly, and our relationships would be deep and meaningful both. Right? Today we've known each other over a decade, conducted 0 rupee worth of business.
Correct.
But we're here.
Yeah.
Right?
That warmth is still there.
Is there. We develop meaningful relationships.
Correct.
Today's generation is more digital. Very difficult to build a meaningful relationship over a digital medium. You don't meet, you don't go out, you don't understand each other. You only show a part of yourself online that you wish to put forward.
Yeah.
You never get to see the other side.
The complete self.
Absolutely. So the relationship is very, very different. And hence, I would strongly recommend for everyone today to move on to D2C.
To at least have a digital presence to start with.
Absolutely.
Whether you have a product or not is a different thing, but at least start looking at the digital area.
If you open Instagram and if you Googled maybe to purchase a new car, you will start getting Mercedes, Volvo, BMW, Kia, all of these cars online. The ads will start coming up on your Instagram.
True.
Which basically tells you that if somebody wants to sell a 50, 60, 70 lakh rupee vehicle is on Instagram, there is no reason for you not to be there.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Agar those expensive cars can be sold online, then
it's a no-brainer.
If we in the printing industry can't think in that direction, then there is something wrong in the way we look at things.
Absolutely. The biggest problem is, you see, it's a journey. It does not happen overnight.
Yeah.
It takes a while to understand your target group. Takes a while to understand when to attract them, how to attract them. It's an effort. It's not easy. But I can surely tell you that that's the next way forward for absolutely all of us.
I totally agree with you. I think being making yourself present in the online space, either be it through LinkedIn or through Instagram or Facebook, depending on what kind of business you are in, you should be having that space.
I will correct you there that immaterial of what business you are in, you got to be on all of it. Because you don't know where your next customer is coming from.
Yeah, probably.
So you have to exist on all of it. No, you have to, because you don't know where he is.
Yeah. And you don't want to miss him.
You don't want to miss him. See, unlike a B2B where I know your office address, I know where to find you. But a D2C, I don't have a specific geographical location to find you.
Where are your customers coming from? Today, I'm sure you would be having like few million customers. So, कहाँ से आ रहे हैं ये सब customers? Are they based from Mumbai or metro cities or?
You will be surprised that we have customers from Jammu and Kashmir to Andaman and Nicobar to places I have never heard of in India.
Achha.
So as far as Mizoram or places in Assam or West Bengal, sorry for the lack of my knowledge, but I didn't even know a place called Asansol existed.
Oh.
Right? But it's only when I see the list and that's when I get overwhelmed by saying, okay, there are
people are trusting and they putting their money up front before buying the product. Oh, that's lovely.
So we've been lucky enough to go absolutely pan-India. So 2-tier cities, 3-tier cities, metropolitan cities, of course, because that's where the fashion related products are still known more than the other places, but otherwise across India, even interiors of Maharashtra, we're getting our sales from. So
the digital revolution is helping a company sitting in Andheri in Mumbai to sell all across India. And probably you were talking about exports. Can we just cover a little about that as well?
We've started SlickFix sales in America as well, North America.
Wow.
And it's just started, so we're hoping, because it's already a ready market, right?
Much more matured market.
Much more matured. So there won't be, we hope not to struggle as much as we did in India on the education part.
Learnings हो गए ना, अभी तो सीख लिया क्या गलती किया है.
Correct, absolutely. So I'm hoping that this year we will get reasonably good numbers from North America as well.
Great. I mean, that will create and build more brands from India selling globally, and that is what I believe the government and the Prime Minister is working towards, and more homegrown brands come out and present themselves in the international market.
Absolutely.
Lovely. That's
absolutely
phenomenal. More power to your team to do this.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I think it's lovely. So let's go ahead towards the last part of the conversation, knowing a little bit about how Akash is, sees his legacy. How does he want his business to be seen in the next 5 years?
So let me be honest. From my understanding, the business cycle today has depleted to about 15 years. So there's not much time available, because the next entrepreneur will probably do something far better than what I have done. Make it easier, make it simpler, make it convenient, make it cheaper. So I don't see a 50, 100 year horizon over here, but maybe about a 10, 15, 20 year max. But we see ourselves in multiple countries across the globe, and we see a large community building, which is our foremost goal, that we want to build a community of people who use fashion solutions from SlickFix.
Trust the SlickFix brand.
Absolutely.
Lovely. I can get a sense, I mean, when I asked that question to you, I was just probably also trying to relate that, is the B2B the focus for Akash or D2C the focus? I can very well make out that you are so obsessed with the SlickFix brand now and you want to take it global.
Yes, there are several reasons actually. One of the reasons is that I see a great opportunity as an entrepreneur. I see that I can help people dress better. And if I can build that confidence in somebody using SlickFix for his day-to-day life, that would be the most satisfying solution for me.
Lovely.
Because that's what will bring me happiness.
Lovely.
That is something that I will take home as a sense of achievement when I go back.
Great.
So that's where we are headed.
Yeah, that's nice. So just tell us the different products for our viewers to know. क्या product SlickFix brand में बिकते हैं?
So one of our flagship products is the fashion dressing tape,
Okay.
which is a clear double-sided tape.
Okay.
It has various applications for men and women. So it's basically as simple as sealing off your button gaps,
when it opens and all that.
collars for dress shirts for men and women, for women to stick their bra straps to the body, to stick the bra strap to the garment as well, deep necklines, sticking a dupatta or a sari, pallu, or even across the chest. So multiple applications again, from hemming a trouser last minute. There's
I think especially लड़कियों का confidence कितना बढ़ जाता होगा ना when they are having
Absolutely.
that trust that my dress is not going to
Correct.
be like in a form that I would feel uncomfortable.
correct. So they call it the oops moment. Right.
Yes.
So as long as they don't have to face the oops moment, they're happy and extremely confident.
Wow.
Yeah.
And SlickFix is helping them fix that.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Absolutely. So that's the feedback we've received from our users.
I'm not aware of many companies in our printing, packaging, paper industry who are into the online D2C business. You are one of them. As I said, more power to you and your team. May you do phenomenally well.
Thank you so much.
I would just take some more time in terms of answering two more questions for us.
Sure.
One of them is, we wanted to hear from you this wonderful work that you're doing outside the core B2B into an online D2C business. Do you have someone else in your mind that you can think of who would be doing interesting work and you'd want to share their names with us, whom we could have on our podcast?
So unfortunately, two of them, but both of them are not based out of Bombay.
That's okay. We have people coming from outside as well.
Okay, so there is one gentleman named Siddharth Vora.
Okay.
He runs a company called Dynaflex.
Okay.
Again, a very, very innovative entrepreneur.
Okay.
Constantly innovating products in the courier bag business.
Lovely.
So he just does some phenomenal work.
Lovely.
Unfortunately, I cannot divulge some of his new products because they've not been launched yet. But it's a commodity space again. Like a courier bag is something everybody makes. Yeah. But he is developing some products, envelopes, which are outstanding because he has the knowledge and background of the chemistry.
Wow.
Another gentleman is I think you might know them, Agenda Print Arts.
Yeah.
Vivek
Khanna, yeah.
Some phenomenal developments at his end as well. They're constantly moving forward, forging forward with new product lines, new ideas of developing packaging.
They have a wonderful name in the market.
Absolutely.
I would love to have Vivek.
Absolutely.
I have reached out to him. Let's see.
Okay.
We'll have him someday soon.
Sure.
Great. And the last question in our episode is in terms of understanding, we are doing this podcast, which is like, kind of it's first in the industry. So what are your immediate things about this podcast? Does it make sense about sharing these stories that we are doing? What are your views?
Let's circle back to where I started. Eyeballs are on the phone. So if you're not doing a podcast, how do you reach out to people? There's no other way to reach out to people.
Yeah.
So the podcast is way forward, is going to be the next. Back in the day, we were told to read books. Your vocabulary will improve.
True.
This will happen. That will happen.
True.
Now you start a podcast when you're driving and you're listening to it.
Yeah.
You're watching it on your screen.
Yeah.
So it's a replacement for the book may not give you the same pleasure.
It's like a university, you know.
It's absolutely.
All these 200 odd guys who are into gumming in and around Mumbai.
Correct.
I mean, they could probably think of अपने साथ का एक बंदा आकाश दोशी ने ये किया है.
Correct.
I mean, we can also think of doing something else. Not
Correct.
that you need to copy. You can do something else.
Correct.
And that's the whole idea about taking these stories outside.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think you're doing a wonderful job by sharing knowledge, by putting it in the right space for people to learn and see. And I think it will help a lot of new age entrepreneurs a lot.
Yeah, our hope and desire is the same. That's why we are, engaging it. We've been a couple of episodes that we have done, and we are just enjoying the entire journey.
Absolutely. And I'm very thankful to you for bringing me on board and getting me here, because
the pleasure is all ours.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Akash. Thanks for your wonderful time, and very nice meeting you again after so long.
Likewise.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.